Okay, let's go. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, council will convene this meeting, special meeting on November 3rd, noon. So let's call the roll, Steph.
Mr. Bogdan.
Here.
Mr. Rosanna.
Here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mr. Ward.
Here.
Mr. Bogart.
Here.
Mr. Rogers. Mayor Liscan.
Here. We have a number of consideration requests to be heard. The names of those people are Randall Duffer, Rachel Hansen, Phil Mesner, and Ronald Zingari. Need a motion to accept public comment.
Motion.
Mr. Ritter,
Second.
second by Mr. Ward. Let's call the vote.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Rosanna.
Yes.
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes.
Mr. Bogart.
Yes.
Mayor Liscan.
Yes. We have no amendments. The adoption of the final agenda. I need a motion.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Ritter moves. Mr. Ward seconds. Call the vote.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Rosanna.
Yes.
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes.
Mr. Bogart.
Yes.
Mayor Liscan.
Yes. Okay, you want to keep your comments to 5 minutes. The first person is Randall Duffer.
Randall Duffer, 904 Cadet Street, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. I'd like to address what I consider lack of equal protection under the law. As a citizen and a taxpayer in Newcastle and a U.S. citizen, I have concerns about what I would call unequal protection. And it has to do with, one of the topics is the signage that we've discussed in the past that have been removed from certain areas, including telephone poles, of which I know of no current law that is violated by posting signs on telephone poles. And as far as the equal protection, there were signs out here at the corner of City Hall for I don't know how long, months and months. But the day a certain party put their sign up on that pole, all the signs came down. Yet across the street, there's signs on the poles that are still there. So why are we taking the signs down in proximity to this building, but yet not in other locations? That doesn't seem to be even-handed to me. And I've been assured that the Constitution Party has not been targeted as far as the signage, but you could just consider what I had to say about that. And also, as far as the city code, property code, you know, if you're an individual and you're a hardworking individual and for whatever personal reason you may have as far as your grass maintenance, property maintenance, if you're a resident, a residential resident, you know, sometimes you can be targeted for these minor, what some people might consider offenses, yet we have property owners in town of commercial properties and whatnot that are blighted. They're a danger to our citizens, and they don't seem to have to, I guess they're given a pass on their fines and that sort of thing. The city's actually maintaining the blighted properties with taxpayer funds rather than having the property owners maintain them. So I see this as certainly not equal protection, which is called out for in the Constitution. Thank you.
Okay, next one is Rachel Hanson.
Do you have any feedback for that?
Well, you're out of order, but no, after they speak, we speak.
Sorry.
Yeah, after
First time.
Okay, that's all right. Ms. Hanson.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel Hanson. I live at 1508 Silver Ave here in Newcastle. I moved to Newcastle about 2 years ago when I bought my first home here. For the first time in my life, I felt like I could truly put down roots and be part of the community. Since then, I've been trying to learn more about how our city operates, how decisions are made, and how residents like me can take part. What I found, though, is that information is often difficult to come by or hard to understand. I'll be the first to admit that my understanding of how city operations work isn't complete, but I also don't think I'm alone in that. Most residents don't have a clear picture either. It can be hard to know what's happening, why it's happening, or how everyday residents fit into this picture, not stakeholders. It can be hard to know what's happening. Granted, I see that the majority of Newcastle's residents don't seem to be engaged, something I personally would like to work to change. But those who are engaged want to stay informed. Either way, important city information needs to be accessible, transparent, and easy to digest. And it is my experience that most information about city business currently comes from the Newcastle News, which requires a subscription. That means many residents, most residents, can't access what I believe should be public information. My first big question then is if it might be possible for the city to begin posting its own updates or summaries online written in plain, straightforward language so everyone can stay informed. In general, I have mixed feelings about the approach of the Constitution Party presence in our town this election season, but I do want to thank Will Kuhn for the way he shares updates on Facebook. His posts are clear, factual, and easy for residents to understand. That kind of communication really helps bridge the gap between city government and community. That is what I'd like to see more of. Unfortunately, most of what I'm going to talk about in the next part about this $3 million loan I've gotten from things like his Facebook post where I've been able to get the most information. So secondly, regarding the $3 million loan being discussed today, I have a few questions. Given the limited information I've been able to gather, and this is me actively trying to seek out information, $1.5 million for a roof for this not super large building seems to be incredibly high, so I'm curious how that figure was determined. Has the city received engineering assessments or competitive bids for replacement? Wouldn't those normally come before securing a loan? I don't know, it just seems like that's probably how that should work. Are there other city buildings that could serve the same purpose without being such a large investment? Maybe for now we simply focus on stabilizing and preserving the structure until a more detailed plan is in place. So my second question is, could council consider tabling this issue until more clarity is obtained about how this money is being spent and if that large of a sum is really needed in a town that's clearly struggling on a lot of other fronts? Can residents access a clear public breakdown of how the loan funds will be used? With an amount this large, transparency is essential for trust. This leads me to my third point. How is the city currently engaging residents? Town hall meetings, which were scheduled at some point, appear to have been canceled. Most recently, one initially scheduled for this Thursday, I believe. I don't even know if that's still a thing. And while speaking here is appreciated, it seems to be mostly a one-way dialogue. I understand no resident input or engagement might be legally mandated as you guys are elected officials. But in a city where there's already a lot of skepticism about government transparency, consistent public engagement isn't just nice to have, it's vital. The sentiment also extends to the comprehensive plan that's underway. It seems that the community survey is no longer being actively circulated. There have not been updates in months, and my understanding is the only way to receive updates is to go in and manually check the website yourself. Even today's meeting was not advertised on the City of Newcastle Facebook page. So my last question is, can the city consider something like a monthly newsletter or email and social media campaigns to make an honest effort to keep people in the loop? I believe we should be making it as easy as possible for people to get information about the goings on in the place they call home, where their hard-earned tax dollars are being spent, and not making them hunt it down. I would also like to volunteer to help make this happen in whatever way is possible. Lastly, I want to emphasize that my purpose in speaking here today isn't to criticize. It's to understand and to contribute. Many of us, myself included, want to be part of the solution. But to do that, the decision makers in the city have to meet us halfway with openness, respect, and clear communication. I do want to appreciate the feedback I have gotten from some of the members of council. I want to acknowledge that I can only imagine how challenging it must be to serve on this council. Because a lot of criticism, which is too much, frustration and public pressure, and I truly respect anyone willing to take on that responsibility. But I also believe that only through consistent transparency and genuine engagement can we begin to rebuild trust and shift the community mindset towards optimism and participation. These things, optimism and participation, I believe, even more than refurbished buildings and new projects, are what will bring about true positive change in the hearts and minds of Newcastle residents. This change will eventually, inevitably trickle down, making Newcastle a better community for us all to live in, grow in, and prosper. Thank you for listening, and the work you do to serve Newcastle.
Ms. Hanson, thank you. Mr. Mesner?
Make sure the time is on. Bill Messner, 407 East Northview Avenue, Newcastle, Pennsylvania. Newcastle, Pennsylvania, 16105. I wanted to ask, one is there a quorum? Who is the parliamentarian? And then where is council? Also, I think it would be a good idea to post introduced legislation on the website. I'm here to oppose the passing of Article 916, the signage on poles. Reason being, going forward, is that bake sales, yard sales, you can't post anything. A municipality has the ability and the duty to nullify unconstitutional dictate and laws, which actually can't even be, because once something is passed and it's unconstitutional, it is void, it is dead, just as Patrick Henry once said. So, just because the state says you can't do something, you have a duty to nullify, to actually repel. If the Supreme Court of the United States says something is constitutional, you have the authority as elected and the duty to uphold the Constitution, not through the courts, but you as individuals can nullify anything that is being rained down on us from above. So if the county says something, or Harrisburg, or DC, or the Supreme Court. So I ask you, stepping back, to not pass Act 916 today. Of course, we've been targeted. We've had our signs and the consequences, which after the third time that you are caught posting grandma's bake sale on the pole, $1,000 fine and jail is in the ordinance of 916. That's tyranny. Just like code. And you make the citizens pay the legal costs. Concerning the $3.1 million loan, do not pass it. Our taxes are going up. I did an analysis that you're kicking the can down the road. You have 4 or 5 years where you have $5,000 due, and then in 2030, just like every other elected official around here, then the tsunami of debt maturity comes. You even have agreed with the proposal to take the fire truck and the sweeper truck, and it's going to cost us now 1.45% more the first year compared to your cost of capital that's now on the lease. It's going to cost us $26,000 just on that one purpose of money. So I ask you, Mr. Rosano, no to both, please. Mr. Esposito, please vote no. Mr. Ritter, please vote no on both. Mr. Alisco, I ask you to vote no on both. And to actually remove the legislation completely. Mr. Ward, I ask you to vote no and remove the legislation. Mr. Bogan, I ask you to not pass either of these legislations. Mr. Fry, I'd ask not for your involvement, or if you're pushing these, I'd like you to table these. Thank you.
Mr. Ronald Zingara.
Ronald Zingaro, 411 East Edgewood Avenue, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, 16105. I don't normally come to these, this is actually my first one. When the Constitution Party first came about, I was really interested in what they had to say. Fresh faces, new ideas, and I understand in politics you're always going to have some sort of smear campaign. I get it, I understand it, it's been a time-honored tradition for hundreds of years. But through the mudslinging, you look for what the end result is. What do you want to do? What are you going to do with the city? And recently I've asked these questions online. I put it out there. What's your plan for the city if elected? You know, I was on the fence. I was actually considering voting for these guys because if they had something intellectual to bring to the table for the city moving forward, they were going to not only have my vote, but the vote of many other people. But instead of answering my question with an intelligent response, I was insulted by saying I was part of a Hillsville mafia. I'm not even from Hillsville. I was born and raised on the south side of Newcastle. I don't even know what a Hillsville mafia is. So does Newcastle have a lot of issues we need to address? Certainly do. Absolutely. And the community needs to come forward and step up. But resulting in, I see people out there waiving their Second Amendment rights. Gunslinging ain't going to solve anything. Civil uprisings has solved nothing over the years. It's brought nothing but more pain and heartache. We need to have intelligence, intellectual people who can sit down and put the mudslinging aside and say, hey, let's resolve these issues. But I rest assured, whether it's you guys or whoever else, my vote will be going elsewhere, and so will all my mafioso. Thank you very much.
That's it for public comments. We have administration comments. Anything from the administration?
So we're all here for the loan that we're looking at going for the city of Newcastle. So I just want to put a little bit of emphasis on that and a little bit more clarity. Last week, Joe Muscatello of Bond Council, he did come and speak to everybody regarding what the uses of those funds are going to be, the details of the loan. Yes, over the next few years, our debt service is going to be lowered until 2030. That's approximately about $83,000 in 2026 alone moving forward. Our CFO, our bank counsel, myself, we've all done the analysis on this just as we do for any other major project that we have in the city, and there is no tax raise projected for 2026, as there hasn't been for the last 6 years. So, you know, our goal here, you know, my goal when I was mayor to now being city administrator has always to ensure that the taxpayers are not burdened with the financial decisions of the city. So, do I believe this loan is in part a good idea for the city at our current moment, in our current financial situation? Absolutely. Additionally, over the last 5 years, we've spent a lot of time searching for alternatives for this building. We've gone to pretty much every available space of size to see if those buildings would be adequate for us to move into. Some were completely gutted, would amount in whether capital costs to renovate the property to suit our needs here as city council or our city administration. Many of them were either a purchase price of $250,000 to $500,000 into somebody else's hand, whether that be somebody in California or Florida or even local. And in addition to that, those also needed capital upgrades for us to work in them attitude. The question that we had coming into this loan decision was, how do we best serve the public? How do we best serve the taxpayers? I made a major decision in 2020 during the COVID years to move the tax office to this area here when we had all the restrictions, social distancing, and the threat of a pandemic on us. So where we currently are stationed now, it's not working for our taxpayers. So in addition to the roof, which we have not gone out to public bid for, so you are correct on that, we have not gone out to public bid for. We have received quotes on the roof, which enable us to put together the specs to do that. That's normally the process. So we get quotes, we have our engineers come and take a look at it, and we work to, and we send those out to, for public bid. Those quotes are ranging. They're ranging from $74,000 to right now $350,000. So there's a huge range there that we will see once we get the bids back. Some we could either choose to go the bid route or we could choose to go the CoStar's route. CoStar's route basically means that you don't have to go to public bid. It's a state recognized program that they can just come in and we can accept those as CoStar's. They have dedicated pricing. So those are some decisions that'll come down the road with this loan. This loan means that we'd be able to fix our roof. We'd be able to provide services. Right now we're operating in a different area rather than our normal council chambers. And that's because the building, you've seen pictures online. You know, if my house had roof was leaking or any other issues, whether it's septic or anything, my first thing to do, I don't have the cash to just go and pay for it. I'd probably go get a loan. I think that what I'm saying here today is that's what we're doing. That's what we're looking at. The loan also covers, correct in saying that it is covering two currently large capital expenses. Since Act 47, since we exited Act 47, which was another indicator that we have made some very good financial decisions over the years, to exit Act 47 after being in for over 17 years. This loan will assist us in our capital budget. So right now our capital budget, previously our capital budget was dictated on the commuter tax. We no longer have that. So our capital budget, as we spend, is dwindling. So taking these two things off of our current capital budget, we'd be able to find other areas in the city, whether that's public works, whether that's streets, whether that's new vehicles that code enforcement or any other department needs to operate and do their job in the community. It'll also assist in that. As Joe mentioned, this is a bank loan, it's not a bond. Whatever funds we use, we could either use them now, we could use them down the line as a draw. There's no, so it won't be an immediate go upstairs and fix the building. These are all long-term things that we'll be having discussions here over the next couple of months. Moving into the budget time, many things can be addressed and put onto the budget and discussed. So I just wanted to, share some of that. Again, we've had record investment over the years in roads. We've had record investment in economic development. We've had record investment in ensuring that our taxes do not go up for the community. And this is just another opportunity for us to ensure that we can properly serve the taxpayers in a building that is adequate. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chris. A few things here. First of all, sometimes it befuddles me that we're taking this long talking about signs. We're confronted with so many challenges that we need to make sure that we achieve by tackling these challenges that we have in this community. And we're talking about signs. So I don't want anybody up here at council to miss the overriding priorities for us. And it is befuddling to me that we're talking about signs. But I will say this, I've been involved in a lot of campaigns in my life. And I've always wondered why anybody would put it, and I've done that. I put signs on public property and they've been taken. I think Eric said the same thing. And we're emphasizing too much of it. We're not picking on you guys. Sometimes you abuse that privilege of putting things on signs, especially when you put it right out in front in defiance of what we've said. And we react to that. But and again, we put too much emphasis on signs. I've been involved in a lot of campaigns and I've never seen a sign walking in vote. I don't think anybody has. The idea of winning elections is by getting popular support. And that's how handling professional campaigns. That's how it's done. And I'd like to say that as far as code is concerned, nobody's protecting anyone. The process of finally getting satisfaction from some of our code violations takes some time. We have to go through the courts. They continue the hearing. That's very frustrating to us, I can tell you that. It is not selective code. It is not selective target. It is not. We go after everybody. And I can tell you, Chris and I met with the Code Enforcement Department many times, and we are very, very thankful for the job they did. It is a tough, tough job, but they're out there every day working. Whether you want to believe that or not, but they are. I meet with Anthony Chaffee at least 2-3 times a week, and so does Mr. Fry. So, and it's not selective. We go after these people. I will say to Ms. Hanson, thank you for your comments. If you're looking to be informed on some of those Facebook sites, I can tell you you're being misinformed. There's nothing on those sites that can give you an accurate description of what's happening. I can assure you of that. But there is an avenue for you. We're here every morning. Steph's here, Chris is here, I'm here every single morning. You're welcome to come in. Many people have my personal cell phone because I believe that when I became mayor, I have a responsibility to answer every call that's made to me, and I do, and I respond. And I welcome people coming in and asking us questions to get an accurate picture. I'd love for you to come in, and we can tell you that. And I appreciate the fact that you said that you would like to be involved. We welcome you with open arms, I can assure you. So, anything else from council?
Yes,
Eddie?
I have a few things to say. Number one, absolutely, we're moving forward, actually more transparency. I agree 100%. The lack of just having all the information in one space, it's mind-blowing. And it is a huge improvement that needs to be done. In January, we're starting a communication committee to make sure that we are able to successfully have a point person. Absolutely, I'm taking your information so we can make sure to have you included. Not only will we want to make sure to have one person to have a voice for our city to continuously keep our community pretty much informed and advised, but public people who are interested in as well being spokespersons, that they can provide information, actually provide decent details of what's happening. I think that would be fantastic. And like I said, we will 100% gather your information to keep you posted because it's going to be happening. And 100% we take full responsibility on the fact that communicating with this whole dynamic is hard, very difficult, and it's not hard. It's easy. It's not easy to find the information. So we take full responsibility. The second thing I wanted to say is an incident that occurred to me personally, and I wanted to address it, obviously, with everyone here, Newcastle News, some Facebook Lives and streams that are available. On Friday, October 31st, while I was walking into the football field with my children, Mr. Messner approached me and began yelling at me in a very aggressive and demeaning manner. That really caused my 10-year-old daughter to feel uncomfortable and very not safe. That behavior is completely unacceptable. I didn't approach you, I didn't address you, I only said good evening. For you to behave that way, it's not okay. As a public official, I know that I'm open to criticism and to scrutiny 100%, but there are lines, and my children are that line, and you crossed it. That speaks very highly in regards to what type of man and what type of father you are, that you really don't have the decency to respect that. I know that your strategy in this charade that you like to hold, maybe online, works, but in person and in actually having human contact, there are consequences to that. And again, you made my daughter feel uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. She's a 10-year-old little girl that you follow me yelling that I was holding her hand. I never shied away from any conversations, civic conversations, or ever debate. If you ever wanted to speak to me, I'm always open to talk to you. But again, the way you spoke to me and the way you treated my daughter was unacceptable. I expect you from ever refraining to approach me in that manner, especially around my children. And I expect that you have some sort of possible conscious and basically apologize for your behavior. I documented the incident from Friday, and I will tell you that if ever happens again, I would move it with consequences to go to our police department and put some sort of restrictions in regards to you and the way you approach people. So I just wanna make sure it's clear and everyone knows the type of human you are. That's it, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah,
From
I'd like
council?
to-
Mr. Spargo.
Okay, so I'd like to talk about a couple of things. When I was working as an architect, our firm specialized in school design. So I had the opportunity to sit in on a meeting like the last meeting we had with Mr. Muscatello and witnessed public schools, which are municipalities, government agencies, borrow money for school projects. What we did, what we talked about, what we're gonna vote on today is no different than what every school district in Pennsylvania does. They require money the same way, either through a bank loan or general obligation bond. It was intimated that we were paying too much interest. We were paying fees that are commensurate to what every school district pays. Sure, the investment bankers that make this money available, they collect the fee. There's a bond counsel, which is an attorney, they collect the fee. These fees add up. If you have a general obligation bond, you have printing fees, there's a whole bunch of fees. This is like, common thing that you just have to live with if you're a municipality that's gonna borrow money. The loan that we're considering is a drawdown loan. So if we don't draw down the money, basically the 3 million will be a smaller amount and therefore there'll be less interest on it. I think it's a wise way to do this. We're going to retire debt that's variable and replace it with fixed rate debt. That I think is a wise decision too. So the financing of what we're doing and what we're spending the money on is reasonable. Now let's talk about this building. I'll change subjects here. Am I delighted with this building? No. Unfortunately, our predecessors left this building to fall into disrepair. It's embarrassing that our roof leaks. We're going to address that with this loan. We will put together a professionally prepared specification and it will be publicly bid. We will also look at co-stars as a way of purchasing the roof, and the lesser of the two acquisition methods will follow because we're concerned very much about being good stewards of the taxpayers' money. This community's tax base needs to increase, but that can only happen through commercial development, and that goes to another topic. People want to leave this building. This building is currently owned by the city. Of course, it's tax exempt. Any building we would move into, we would take off the tax rolls. That's not moving our tax base forward. I believe that fixing the roof on this building and then incrementally improving it as funds become available is the most wise way to spend the taxpayers' money. Would I like to have a glitzy new city hall? Sure, I would. I'm an architect. I can think of a beautiful building. But that's not where the city is right now. We can't afford that. What we have to do is work with what we have, make this building functional, usable, and then address all the huge other problems we have. Right now, we don't need a glitzy new city hall. We can work out of this building, we can work on it little by little and improve it, and then address all these other major problems. There's many positive things that are, percolating and can happen in this city. and we need to spend our resources on those. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone else?
I just want to add two things. First one, Councilman Ritter, as far as the luck tomorrow for the election, myself
And you.
included.
And you.
The loan aspect, as most of you know, read in the paper, that I was a huge component of figuring out the best way to utilize this funding. I don't agree with putting another dollar into this building. After hearing conversations with Mayor Lisco and Esposito about this, it got me thinking even more about it. But I still can't see us putting money into this building and us keep putting money into this building year after year after year. It just don't seem right with me, you know? So just so y'all are all aware, I'm probably voting no in today's vote for this loan. And that's all I wanted to add today.
Anyone else?
Yes, yeah. Tough decisions. Tough decisions. It makes me think of what I try to do is, I think of my father who sat at this table some 60-some years ago, you know, and obviously he's not around. Dad, give me some wisdom here, because it is a tough vote. You know, everybody up here is respectable and smart people, and you know, in a democracy, one vote makes the difference. Okay, so it's hard. It's not easy, and I appreciate you guys coming up and protest. It's didn't we do that back in like 17-something, 76? You know, they got up and we, you know, hey, get these English people out, get these great. So that's part of a democracy. That's what I'm saying. It's part of a democracy, and I appreciate it. I really do. In fact, a little bit of it I like. You know, of course, my wife would tell you this because I'm argumentative. But it's important that we have debate like this. That's what it is. We debate. We were in a meeting. That's when we sit there, and we, you know, Mr. Fry and I, we're debating this. Okay. Because anybody here know the future? Yeah. Sir, you know what's going to happen next week? You know what's going to happen next week? No. You know what's going to happen next week? No. There's no guarantees. None. You live today, you make the decisions of today, and then what happens a month, a year, no guarantees. You know? Some of the hardest things to do, and maybe because it's getting recent, is going to a funeral home and saying goodbye to loved ones. All right? They're dead, gone. You know? And so it does, and maybe because this has been happening more frequently in my life as you get older, you know, it's important that we just trying to make the right decisions. We're not Einstein, we're not Thomas Jefferson, we're not Abraham Lincoln, you know, we're just common people from this great city of Newcastle that I was raised and born in, trying to make right decisions. Okay? If we disagree with each other, that's part of democracy. All right? And I just appreciate people that keep getting involved. You, sir, but get involved. Because that's the only way this great city that I was raised in will return to that status. I'm done.
Anyone else? No? Okay, nothing under fiscal and contractual, there's nothing under resolutions on the table. We have three. For final action, there's one. I need a motion to remove from the table Council Bill 2025-14, and I'm going to have to read it, so bear with me. Authorizing the incurring of a non-electoral debt by the issuance of general obligation note in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $3,100,000 to pay the cost of capital improvements to certain facilities of the local government unit and refinancing certain fire equipment, covenanting, if I pronounce that properly, to pay and pledging taxing power for the payment of the note, establishing a sinking fund and appointing a sinking fund depository, fixing the form, interest rate, maturity date, and other provisions for the payment thereof, covenanting to accept a proposal for the purchase of the note, authorizing the following of the required documents for the Department of Community and Economic Development, ratifying and directing certain actions as officers, and making certain other covenants and provisions in respect of the note. We are also amending the ordinance right now to include the debt service schedule. This has been introduced by Mr. Ritter at the 10/28 council meeting. So I'll need a motion to remove from the table, Mr. Ritter.
Motion.
Mr. Ritter will move. I need a vote by Mr., a second by Mr. Bogart. Call the vote for the amending. Or, I'm sorry, call the vote to begin to remove this, I'm sorry.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Rosanna.
No.
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes.
Mr. Bogart.
Yes.
Mayor Liscan.
Yes. I need a motion to amend. Mr. Ritter, will you move?
Motion.
Mr. Ritter moves. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bogart. Call the vote to amend Council Bill 14.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Rosanna.
Yes.
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
Yes.
Mr. Bogart.
Yes.
Mayor Liscan.
Yes. Okay, I need a motion to adopt as amended Council Bill 14. Call the vote for that.
A motion.
Motion.
I'm sorry, motion, Mr. Ritter, second. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bogart. Call the vote.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Rosanna.
No.
Mr. Ritter.
Yes.
Mr. Ward.
No.
Mr. Bogart.
Yes.
Mayor Liscan.
Yes. For introduction, we have none. I need a motion to adjourn this special meeting.
Motion.
Mr. Ritter moves,
Second.
second by Mr. Bogart. Thank you.